Interesting. I think the most interesting thing to me is that I've not really had the pain since. And it really just makes me think that what is that sometimes, you know? Because it was such a real pain. Hi guys, how's it going? I didn't do a video last Friday because I had a crazy, hectic, busy week. So I'm catching up. This one's on my phone just because I kind of feel like I just want to chat to you guys like this, talking about it rather than setting up my camera. But I'll be back doing my normal videos on Friday. And then I'm also going to be starting some weekly mindfulness stuff starting next week, so look out for that. If you've been watching some recent videos, I've been worried a little bit about this pain that I had in my side over the past year and a half. So quite a long time I've had this kind of on and off anxiety about this pain. It wasn't like health anxiety in the past, so it wasn't. I'm a bit sunburned. Oh my goodness! It wasn't like an anxiety in the past where I was solely focused and solely worried about something. Instead, it was kind of this like anxiety that was ebbing and flowing, and that would come back and go, and nowhere near as severe as it's been in the past. But there was a particular like few weeks earlier this year, especially where it was really on my mind, and when. If you know, I've spoken about health anxiety a lot, and I'm sure if you experience it, it's really difficult to enjoy things as you would, even if something's on the back of your mind. So that way, it's been a bit frustrating on and off through the past year or so. But I think because of the work that I've been doing, I've been really not seeking reassurance, not messaging everyone, asking, you know, what do you think this is? And I've not been constantly on Google. There has been some nights I've been on Google, but I have done some strides with it. But I knew that I wanted a colonoscopy. And it's funny actually, because I've had an endoscopy in the past because of my hiatus hernia. And I just knew I wanted one because I just knew that this anxiety is not going to go away until I have this all clear. And it's a physical sensation that has been happening. I've been getting this pain. And then when I did tell people in my life, they were a bit like, oh, that's a long time to have a pain, including my GP. And I was like, okay, well, if you're saying that, then that makes me feel like maybe, you know, I should feel like health anxiety for this. And it wasn't a severe pain. It's interesting, you know, right now, I can actually feel it. Now I'm talking about it. But I haven't really felt it much recently, which is really weird. Like, I can feel that pain in my side right now. Anyway, that's just blown my mind a little bit. So I had a colonoscopy. Woo! All the tests on this channel, apparently. It's bizarre. Well, sometimes I just think, like, is it because I've got health anxiety that I have more tests? But then sometimes it's like, well, I didn't ask for a colonoscopy. I was just offered one by the referral, because they were like, oh, it sounds like we should. And there was a few other symptoms that maybe were like slightly red flaggy. So I was just getting this like all clear gone. And I even did a video a couple of weeks ago talking about how my anxiety had kind of gone better by itself without even having a result, just by having the colonoscopy booked in, which was strange. And again, it's the power of the mind, isn't it? My anxiety was better just knowing that the test was booked in, so I wasn't really worried about it anymore, because I knew that was happening. Very weird. Yeah, so the colonoscopy itself wasn't, I knew it wasn't going to be as bad as an endoscopy. And I actually wasn't going to get sedated at first. But I arrived and she was just like, why not just get sedated? And I was like, all right, go on then. Kind of, because I was like, you know, I'd rather not remember it. And she said it's about half an hour, which is longer than what my endoscopy was. So I was like, okay, then go for it. Sedate me. So I was sedated. It's weird with sedation because it's kind of like you can't remember fully everything, but I do remember asking questions, and I do remember watching it on the screen happening as it was happening and going, oh, what's that? But I must have sounded a little bit drunk. And then after that, about half an hour long, it really wasn't that bad, wasn't that uncomfortable. It was more just a weird feeling, and maybe that's because of what I was sedated, you know, a weird sensation. I also had a polyp removed that they did during the session. I didn't feel it at all, didn't even notice it. And from memory, I was sort of like entertained by it in my sedated state. And then afterwards, got some food, had to fast. The worst part was the prep, because you've got to like do this like 24-hour, you got to drink this awful drink, it all floods out of you. It's not the best time, unfortunately. But, you know, at least it refreshed the system a little bit, is what I thought. But it didn't quite, actually, because then my bowels didn't feel the best for the next few days. So not quite refreshed. Anyway, TMI about my bowels situ. The worst part was the prep, basically. And then the actual thing wasn't as bad as I thought. Probably I feel like I would have been okay without sedation, which is the opposite to what I said about the endoscopy, which I would never ever wish on anybody without being sedated. It was the summary of the video, if you're going to find the endoscopy video. Or I think it's called the gastroscopy or whatever it's called, where it goes this way. But this, it wasn't as bad. Long story short, just a little bit longer. They found a polyp, had some food after, and that was it. No major news, nothing jarring. The result will come back and my GP will call me. You find out there and then at the colonoscopy what your results are, which are great. Yeah. And then it was just a bit like, okay. So it's nice to have that reassurance. I actually don't feel anxious anymore. But then it's kind of, and I also feel like, I do feel like these things are sometimes good, and maybe question whether people should, like, if I know it's like a funds and resources thing, but like, for example, that polyp that was removed, surely that's something that in the future could be something serious. So that being gone surely is a good thing, no? And also just having everything checked anyway. So for that, I felt good about it. I didn't feel stupid having the colonoscopy, even though you're probably watching this like, oh, you have a lot of tests, don't you? Health anxiety vibes, that's what happens. And of course, this channel, I've been talking about health and stuff for like 6-7 years now, so it's not like, you know, I've been bashing out something every other week. Like, this is really the only thing I've been to the doctor about in the past couple of years, even maybe longer than that. It's interesting. I think the most interesting thing to me is that I've not really had the pain since. And it really just makes me think that what is that sometimes, you know? Because it was such a real pain that I was feeling. I just felt it then. And I do feel this, I notice it sometimes, but part of me is like, how much of this was exaggerated because of a focus that I've been having in my head and my mind, a focus on a symptom, just like I've done in a few meditations on this channel, where you can physically create with your mind through focusing and touching and feeling is what I was doing a lot. You can create the symptom that you're worried about. And then in your head is like, am I creating it? Or is this actually a symptom that I should worry about? And then where's the line? Because it's too much of a big deal to get wrong. Because we're talking about your health and we're talking about the big C. So it's difficult to navigate that and to navigate what is right and what is wrong in that decision. Is it a real symptom, or is it just something that I've been feeling and noticing so much that I've noticed it more? Or is it a minimal symptom that I'm just hyper-focusing on? But it turns out it was nothing. I don't really know what it was still. So maybe when I have a chat to my doctor, I'm assuming I've been doing a lot more sort of physical activity, that it might be something to do with that. Maybe a muscle or something, you know, that's just didn't repair last year. Maybe because I overexerted it. And then now it's starting to get better. And maybe after the last few months, maybe because I was feeling it so much and stuff like that, maybe it was aggravating it if it was a physical muscle sensation. So maybe it was that. I don't know. But it's so interesting. But good news, all was clear and it wasn't that bad. And if you are having a colonoscopy, feel free to ask any questions. But yeah, I went in, she told me I should get sedated, but I was much more relaxed about it than the endoscopy. I got you get your thing in your hand, you go in, you chat to the doctor for about 5 minutes, then you're in there, sedated, watching yourself on the screen. They talk you through what's happening. It can feel a bit clinical sometimes, but what can you do? Then it happens. They get rid of anything there. You have painkillers as well. You can have gas and air as well. I chose not to. It wasn't painful at all for me. And obviously you do the prep within the last 2 days before for it. I remember I was very moody the night before because I love my food, so I was quite moody the night before. And then, yeah. And then you come out and you get your results. You get given I got some biscuits and tea and some toast. Oh, that toast I think was the best toast I've ever tasted in my entire life, which was nice. And then you sent home. And you had to get picked up if you sedated. That was it. So I honestly wouldn't worry about the pain and wouldn't worry about anything. And if, maybe get sedated, because why not? I guess. If the option's there, then just take it. And if you've got someone to pick you up, then, it's not something you want to remember, I'm assuming. So, I think the reason I just wanted to make this video is just because it's just so interesting, isn't it? I'm fascinated by my own mind and how it works sometimes, and just how real something can feel and is. There was something there, but how all of that anxiety just goes in an instant. And I almost feel weird after it, because I'm kind of like, you kind of like not miss the anxiety, but it feels like something's gone. And it takes a while to realise that's a positive thing, because something's always on the back of your mind, even if it's like so tiny on the back of your mind you don't think of it for a couple of weeks. But then it feels weird when it's gone. It's just fascinating. Health anxiety, such a minefield. But I'm okay. And feel free to subscribe to my channel. My channel is all about how to make life a little bit easier. I talk health anxiety, hair loss, and lots of other stuff. I'm also a musician and multidisciplinary artist. I act and do lots of other stuff. So if you want to follow any of that, then follow me on Instagram and say hi. Yeah, enjoy your day.